This is the NBA, folks, where the drama never takes a breather. Just when you thought the madness couldn't escalate any further, another jaw-dropping moment arrives. Hot on the heels of that monumental trade between Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis, a fresh controversy has everyone buzzing. New footage has surfaced, showing a fiery exchange between LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith that's already taken the internet by storm. But that's not all. There's another layer to this saga. Did you catch wind of Stephen A.'s explosive accusation against LeBron? In his own words, he's pleading, "LeBron James, as a father, I'm begging you. Stop this. What's happening here goes far beyond a courtside spat. This is complicated, messy, and infinitely more fascinating. Let's delve into the exciting details you absolutely need to hear. Believe me, this is something you don't want to overlook. The highlight? During a recent matchup where the LA Lakers narrowly defeated the New York Knicks 113-109, an unforeseen incident captured everyone's attention. In a surprising twist, the 57-year-old American sports journalist became engaged in a tense back and forth with the Lakers star player, leaving fans and onlookers completely taken aback. So, what exactly went down? The showdown at the Crypto.com arena between the Lakers and Knicks was already an edge-of-your-seat kind of game, but one specific moment stole the headlines. As the fourth quarter was about to kick off, Stephen A. Smith, stationed courtside to report on the game, had an unexpected exchange with none other than LeBron James. The four-time NBA champion had an expression that was anything but welcoming. Without hesitation, he confronted the renowned NBA journalist head-on. Now, while LeBron is typically known for letting things roll off his back, this time he chose not to stay quiet. This was no ordinary debate. It wasn't a two-way exchange of words, but rather a direct and decisive call-out. And it all revolved around someone extremely important to LeBron. The moment sent shockwaves not only through the arena, but far beyond, leaving everyone buzzing with questions about what really happened. Stephen A. Smith, who's never been one to avoid the limelight, addressed the incident on First Take, shedding some light on the heated interaction. He remarked, "I've spent hours thinking this through because I wasn't planning to speak on it all. And the reason for that is it was a private, one-on-one confrontation. I woke up to find my phone blowing up with messages from my agent and people at ESPN, all letting me know this had gone viral." When asked why LeBron seemed so visibly upset with him, Smith shared a bit of insight. According to him, LeBron James approached him rather unexpectedly to address comments made about his son, essentially warning him to watch his words. You could feel the tension in the air. While Smith refrained from disclosing every explosive detail, he didn't hold back entirely, admitting, "I can't repeat what was said. It's not exactly FCC friendly." Though the exact exchange remains unclear, fans have speculated that LeBron sent a very direct message, with many assuming it was something along the lines of, "Keep my son out of this sh****." The heated encounter even managed to shake the normally unshakable Stephen A. Smith. Looking back on the incident, he explained that it wasn't a basketball player approaching him in that moment. It was a parent, a father stepping forward. He emphasized that he couldn't harbor any anger or feel disrespected by LeBron James in this context. Still, despite empathizing with LeBron's frustration, Smith later remarked on First Take that the entire encounter might not have been necessary. He pointed out, for the record, that Rich Paul, LeBron's agent and close friend, had his phone number. Similarly, Maverick Carter, who works closely with Paul, also had it. Even LeBron himself knew how to reach him. Yet, LeBron never called. Smith insisted that if James had picked up the phone and initiated a conversation, he would have been more than willing to take the call. At that point, the precise details of what James said during their exchange were still unclear, until the experienced NBA commentator revealed everything during an episode of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Smith recounted that LeBron James was visibly fired up. During the game, LeBron came up to him and firmly stated, "That's my son. Leave my son alone. Stop with my son." Smith then remembered the NBA superstar expressing a desire to address the matter later, to which he casually replied, "All right, dog, fine." But what exactly triggered such an intense reaction from LeBron? The root of his frustration was tied to highly personal remarks made by Stephen A. Smith about Bronny James, LeBron's eldest child and a rookie with the Los Angeles Lakers. Known for his candid opinions, Smith didn't hold back in voicing his stance that Bronny wasn't ready for the big leagues and hadn't earned his position on the Lakers roster yet. These pointed remarks clearly struck a chord with LeBron, who has always been deeply protective of his family. On ESPN's First Take, Smith initially approached the topic cautiously, commending LeBron's iconic legacy while also voicing apprehensions about his son. "As a father, I'm begging LeBron James, please just stop this. Enough is enough," he urged. Yet, Smith didn't stop there and went on to make a bold statement that could have been the tipping point for LeBron. "Let's not kid ourselves. Bronny James is in the NBA because of his father," he remarked. Attempting to clarify his comments, Smith elaborated. "Picture this. Opening night, the first game of the season. The Griffies are there, celebrating a magical moment. A father and son sharing the court in an NBA game for the very first time. It's an undeniably incredible story." He then emphasized his point again, saying, "But eventually, reality kicks in. We're really impressed with how he's performing in the G League. It's the ideal environment for him to refine his skills, improve his game, and prove himself worthy of a spot in the Lakers rotation." But Smith didn't end his comments there. He went further, claiming that Bronny's early challenges in the NBA highlighted his lack of readiness for the spotlight. To clarify, Smith did express that he supports Bronny and frequently acknowledges LeBron as one of the greatest athletes in history. Even so, he stressed his belief that Bronny needed to be shielded from the relentless scrutiny of the NBA until he was fully equipped to handle it. According to Smith, it would be unfair to wish anything but success for him. He's a great young man, and I only want the best for him. But being LeBron James' son brings unavoidable attention. Everyone knows the kind of pressure that creates and the criticism this kid will face. Smith then backed up his argument with some undeniable truths. Over the course of 13 games, he has spent a total of 44 minutes on the court. During that time, he has only managed to score 4 points. His shooting percentages are dismal, hitting just one of 16 attempts from the field and missing all 7 of his three-point shots. Then, Smith returned to the point he originally made about Bronny James, redirecting his comments towards LeBron James. He pointed out what seemed like the most glaring reality, stating, "You understand what these statistics signify. You see the potential impact this has on your son, as well as on other players who are working tirelessly, whether on NBA teams, in the G League, or overseas in Europe. These are individuals desperate for the kind of chance you're handing to him." Smith went on to clarify his remarks, stressing that his assessment was not intended to discredit or dishonor LeBron James personally. He described James' actions as extremely admirable and commended him for being an outstanding father. Additionally, Smith made it clear to his audience that his remarks were not intended as a personal critique of LeBron or as an attack on his parenting. To emphasize his sincerity, he even swore on everything meaningful to him, stressing that he had no intent to disrespect LeBron. Smith acknowledged the deep emotions tied to the situation and recognized that LeBron's decisions stemmed from his unwavering love and support for his son, Bronny. He then elaborated on his viewpoint, reflecting on the significance of the father-son moment during the NBA season's opening game. Smith admitted that it was a touching narrative, one that struck a chord with fans and highlighted the unique connection between LeBron and Bronny. Yet, he raised concerns about the choice to elevate that moment by including Bronny on the Lakers roster and featuring him in the first quarter. While he praised the initial sentiment behind the gesture, Smith questioned whether thrusting Bronny into such a prominent position at this stage of his career was the wisest path. He pointed out that Bronny was in uniform, occupying a roster spot, but contributing very little on the court. Smith called attention to the lack of substantial impact, suggesting that this approach might not be benefiting Bronny's growth or the team's overall success. In closing, Smith addressed the situation with an air of sincere bewilderment and concern. He openly questioned the logic behind the decisions being made, admitting his inability to grasp how they were meant to support Bronny. Smith articulated his view that the current strategy appeared to hinder rather than help Bronny's development as a player or his long-term professional aspirations. The decision to place Bronny in such a highly stressful environment, especially during a time when he was visibly struggling on the court, left Smith genuinely perplexed. His remarks conveyed not only worry about Bronny's basketball journey, but also about the potential mental and emotional strain stemming from the relentless pressure and expectations placed upon him. While likely offered with good intentions, this outlook clearly clashed with LeBron James' perspective. To James, this issue extended beyond the realm of basketball. It was about safeguarding his son's dreams, acknowledging his efforts, and championing his freedom to forge his own path in the sport. His pushback against Smith's comments wasn't merely a reaction to criticism. It was a response of a father determined to protect his child amidst the glare of public opinion. Was it warranted? Smith never explicitly stated as much, and instead admitted that the altercation didn't faze him in the slightest. When questioned about his dynamic with LeBron James, Smith was blunt, conceding that their relationship has been strained for quite some time. Still, he was quick to point out that neither he nor James spends any time dwelling on it. Despite the underlying discord, Smith expressed that he would have preferred James to voice his concerns privately rather than confronting him courtside during the game. According to Smith, a phone call or a discreet discussion would have been a far better approach to resolving the issue. While Smith displayed a sense of professionalism and respect for the emotions at play, insiders speculate that his pointed critique may have touched on a particularly sensitive topic for James. One could argue that Smith's remarks mirrored criticisms James had likely heard from others previously. Though plenty may have shared these sentiments behind the scenes or delivered them in a more subdued manner, Smith chose to air them in full, direct, and on a highly visible platform. This boldness ultimately made him the focal point of LeBron's dissatisfaction. But here's the bigger question. Is there validity to these claims? Is Bronny James part of the NBA due to his skills, or is it family connections at play? While I believe in his potential, it's clear he didn't showcase it at a high standard. Following the Lakers' loss to the Philadelphia 76ers, a game where Bronny James got a fair share of minutes but didn't leave much of an impression, J.J. Redick, the Lakers' head coach, weighed in on the matter. In his comments, Redick attempted to show faith in the rookie, but his words came across as less than convincing. In fact, many felt his remarks only fueled the skepticism, making it seem as though Bronny's position on the team might not be entirely earned based on merit. Critics sharpened their focus on this specific game, where Bronny struggled, going 0-8 from the field while managing just 3 rebounds and a single assist. The subpar performance not only sparked debate about whether Bronny is truly ready for the NBA, but also reignited accusations of nepotism, with many questioning whether his family name played a larger role in securing his spot on the Lakers than his basketball abilities. Oh, and let's not forget, this game served as the tipping point for Stephen A., Smith's now notorious critique of LeBron James. Smith, never one to mince words, used this performance to bolster his claim that LeBron's son, Bronny, wasn't quite prepared for the rigors of the NBA. He openly questioned whether LeBron's undeniable influence was unintentionally placing Bronny in a situation destined to hinder him more than help him. Smith's remarks ignited a strong reaction, not only from the sports community and fans, but also from LeBron himself, culminating in a fiery exchange that quickly went viral. The core issue, however, remains unresolved. Is Bronny James a Nepo baby in the NBA? The topic has made him a focal point in discussions about nepotism in professional sports. Let's break down the facts and let you decide. Take, for instance, his selection as the 55th overall pick by the Los Angeles Lakers in the 2024 NBA Draft. A decision that triggered heated debates about whether his place in the league was earned through his own talent or significantly influenced by his father's iconic reputation. Before sporting the Lakers' purple and gold, Bronny played just one season at the University of Southern California. While he did show glimpses of promise during that time, his stats were far from groundbreaking. Over 25 games, he averaged 4.8 points and 2.8 rebounds per game, earning a spot in the starting lineup in only 6 of those matchups. Though scouts admired his athletic capabilities, defensive acumen, and high basketball IQ, his unimpressive statistics didn't exactly make him look NBA ready. To many, his college career left him teetering on the edge of draft eligibility, far removed from the limelight reserved for first-round prospects. Nevertheless, the Lakers chose to select him, a decision that was both groundbreaking and contentious. This marked the first time in league history that a father and son would play as teammates, realizing LeBron James's long-cherished dream. While the story carried undeniable emotional appeal, it also sparked controversy. Critics contended that Bronny's draft pick had less to do with his actual skills and more to do with LeBron's significant sway within the Lakers organization. As the team's cornerstone for years, LeBron had made no secret of his desire to share the court with his son. Now, as Bronny's debut season unfolds, the doubts surrounding him have only intensified. Across 18 games, his performance has been lackluster, managing only 1.4 points, 0.4 rebounds, and 0.5 assists per game. On the court, Bronny has struggled to leave a mark. It's fairly typical for late second-round picks to need time to find their footing, but the scrutiny surrounding Bronny is far from usual. Every missed opportunity, every off game, and each rookie misstep is amplified by the enormous weight carried by his last name. In contrast, when LeBron James was at the age Bronny is now, he was already revered as a once-in-a-generation talent and a widely recognized figure in the basketball community. At just 18, LeBron was dominating the high school basketball scene at St. Vincent St. Mary High School in Akron, Ohio, propelling his team to an outstanding 25-1 season and securing a third state championship during his senior year. His performance was nothing short of extraordinary, averaging an incredible 31.6 points, 9.6 rebounds, 4.6 assists, and 3.4 steals per game. LeBron's unparalleled athletic ability, sharp basketball instincts, and sheer versatility earned him widespread acclaim, including prestigious titles like Ohio's Mr. Basketball and the Gatorade National Player of the Year, among a slew of other honors. By the time he left high school, LeBron was universally regarded as the top prospect in the 2003 NBA Draft, getting picked first overall by the Cleveland Cavaliers and instantly making waves in the league. The ongoing debate about Bronny's potential in the NBA, however, extends beyond stats. It's tied to questions of equity, opportunity, and how family legacy shapes professional sports. Advocates argue that Bronny should be given the chance to shine on his own merit, applauding his dedication, his defensive capabilities, and the understanding that it often takes time for players to adapt to the NBA stage. Critics, on the other hand, dismiss his selection as a clear case of favoritism, skeptically asking whether he would have been drafted at all if not for being LeBron's son. When LeBron James directly addressed Stephen Smith over some tough-to-hear comments, fans wasted no time capturing the event and sharing their thoughts online. The clash created ripples throughout the basketball world, sparking widespread reactions as people weighed in on the tense encounter. Social media quickly became a hub of animated discussions, humorous memes, and strong opinions about the incident. For example, one supporter applauded LeBron for defending his son and showing his dedication as a father. Meanwhile, another user remarked on how James stepped out of the team huddle ahead of the fourth quarter specifically to approach Smith. However, not all fans were on LeBron's side. One individual criticized him for confronting Smith courtside, arguing Bronny is old enough to handle things on his own. Another expressed confusion over why LeBron felt the need to call out someone who was, in their view, simply doing his job. It's worth mentioning that Stephen A. Smith isn't the only one to question Bronny James' spot on the Lakers roster. Political and media commentator Bill Maher recently shared his unfiltered thoughts on the subject, leaving little unsaid. While addressing the phenomenon of Nepo babies during a segment, Maher targeted Bronny James directly, remarking, "I see the world of Nepo babies and trust fund kids out there, and Bronny James is messing it up." His critique was anything but subtle. Maher continued by arguing, "In the NBA, you've always been able to rely on the fact that the league's 600 players represent the best basketball talent globally, not just in the US, and Bronny James isn't among the top 600. On a related note, Candace Owens also weighed in, this time in defense of Stephen A. Smith after his recent disagreement with LeBron James. Owens sparked her own controversy with a bold statement, declaring, "There seems to be this unwritten rule that LeBron's son is off limits when it comes to criticism." Her remarks struck a nerve, igniting fresh discussions about where to draw the line when critiquing the children of public figures. When it comes to the offspring of renowned NBA stars and the often avoided discussion of obvious truths, examining the arguments on both sides of the nepotism debate is worthwhile. On one side, nepotism might appear irrelevant when a child of an iconic NBA figure demonstrates extraordinary talent, validating their position in the league through undeniable ability and stellar performance. Conversely, nepotism becomes a controversial topic when a so-called Nepo baby fails to deliver, prompting fans and analysts to debate whether their opportunity was genuinely earned or simply given to them. So, where should the line be drawn? Can nepotism be overlooked when skill justifies it? Or does it inevitably undermine the concept of merit? It's an important conversation to have, especially since Bronny James isn't the only child of a basketball legend in the league. NBA nepotism took center stage when Bronny James was drafted by the Lakers, igniting a heated discussion about whether his father's influence played a larger role than his own abilities. Detractors were quick to accuse the move of being more about LeBron James' legacy than Bronny's talents. But ESPN's audience also heard strong commentary from NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski addressing the controversy head-on. Anyone upset over claims of nepotism surrounding Bronny's selection should widen their focus to the entire NBA, not just zero in on LeBron James, Bronny, and the Lakers. LeBron made no attempt to sugarcoat his stance when he stated, "Nepotism is everywhere in the NBA." He dismissed accusations directed at his family, emphasizing that nepotism isn't a new phenomenon simply because his son happens to be a Laker. As Adrian Wojnarowski highlighted, this issue is deeply embedded in the league's history. Time and again, less skilled players have secured roster spots as a favor aimed at appeasing influential relatives or siblings. And it's not confined to players. Coaching staffs often include the sons of current or former coaches, and occasionally, even the offspring of iconic NBA players. The trend extends to front offices, which are frequently packed with the children of past executives or even the owners' families. For decades, favoritism has been an undeniable part of the NBA structure, stretching across players' roles, coaching hires, and management teams. Is nepotism inherently negative? The answer isn't a simple yes or no, as both sides of the debate have compelling evidence. Take, for instance, the story of Stephen Curry, whose NBA career serves as a testament to how exceptional talent, hard work, and dedication can defy claims of nepotism. Stephen's father, Del Curry, who spent 16 successful years in the NBA, primarily with the Charlotte Hornets, was renowned for his sharpshooting. Del's achievements undoubtedly gave Stephen early exposure to basketball and access to valuable resources. However, it was Stephen's unmatched skill and tireless drive that carved his path to greatness. Unlike scenarios where familial ties can eclipse merit, Stephen Curry has consistently demonstrated that his place among the all-time greats isn't due to his father's legacy, but rather his own remarkable accomplishments. Since his NBA debut in 2009, Curry has completely transformed the sport. As a two-time MVP, a four-time NBA champion, and the all-time leader in three-pointers made, his influence on basketball cannot be overstated. Widely credited with ushering in the dominance of the three-point shot, Curry has inspired countless players to extend their shooting range and rethink the game. Beyond his individual success, Curry has been the driving force behind the Golden State Warriors' sustained dominance, leading them to multiple championships and cementing their status as a modern basketball dynasty. Similarly, Klay Thompson serves as a remarkable example in the world of basketball. His path in the NBA highlights the fascinating blend of family legacy and individual talent within professional sports. Klay's father, Michael Thompson, made history as the first overall pick in the 1978 NBA draft and achieved great success, securing 2 championship titles with the Los Angeles Lakers during the 1980s. Much like Stephen Curry, Klay was raised in a household deeply connected to basketball, where his father's career granted him valuable knowledge and early opportunities to hone his skills. Nonetheless, Klay Thompson's rise to prominence in the NBA is a reflection of his own abilities, dedication, and relentless work ethic. Selected 11th overall by the Golden State Warriors in the 2011 draft, Klay rapidly emerged as one of the league's top-tier shooters and a key figure in the Warriors dynasty. In truth, this Nepo baby has revolutionized the sport through his exceptional three-point shooting, playing a pivotal role in leading the Warriors to 4 NBA championships. Additionally, his accomplishments speak volumes. A 5-time NBA All-Star, a 2-time All-NBA honoree, and widely regarded as one of the best shooters in basketball history. He holds the records for the most points scored in a single quarter and the most three-pointers made in a playoff game. Beyond his offensive prowess, Klay is equally celebrated for his outstanding perimeter defense, often assigned to guard the opposing team's top players. Consider the case of Thanasis Antetokounmpo, whose path in the NBA has stirred ongoing debates surrounding nepotism and questions about his merit in the league. As the elder sibling of Giannis Antetokounmpo, a 2-time MVP and a dominant force in the NBA, Thanasis has frequently been dismissed by detractors as a failed Nepo baby. Critics have even gone so far as to label him one of the worst players in the league, pointing to his limited impact during games and his unremarkable career statistics. Selected 51st overall by the New York Knicks in the 2014 NBA draft, Thanasis initially struggled to solidify his place in the league. Following stints overseas and in the G League, he made his NBA return in 2019 when he signed with the Milwaukee Bucks, a decision that many speculated was heavily influenced by Giannis' superstar presence on the team. Since becoming a Buck, Thanasis has primarily occupied a bench role, putting up modest career averages of 2.6 points, 1.8 rebounds, and 0.5 assists per game. His contributions have mostly been limited to energy plays, hustle, and occasional flashes of defensive effort, with little to show in terms of statistical impact. Critics often cite his spot on Milwaukee's roster as a prime example of nepotism, especially in comparison to Giannis' towering influence on the court. This sentiment was widely echoed following a missed dunk attempt by Thanasis during the Bucks' loss to the Orlando Magic, with one fan bluntly claiming online that he's the worst player in the NBA. Another commenter brought up an observation that's been lingering in the minds of many for quite a while. Let me take a moment to clarify something before diving deeper. This isn't about labeling nepotism as inherently positive or negative. It's simply a reality. Like countless other fields, the NBA has long been influenced by familial connections, and there's no sign of that dynamic fading anytime soon. Whether we're talking about players, coaching staff, front office executives, or even ownership, family ties are undeniably etched into the league's foundation. In truth, nepotism isn't some fleeting phenomenon in the NBA. It's a long-standing aspect of its operations. While it can open opportunities for certain individuals, making the most of those chances ultimately hinges on the person themselves. Whether it's through standout performances, tireless hard work, or those immeasurable qualities that leave a mark, the NBA remains a space where skill, determination, and timing collide. Sometimes, this interplay fuels conversations and debates, but always keeps the basketball world buzzing. Although nepotism continues to spark debate, there's no denying that it isn't going anywhere. We appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to explore more by selecting one of the recommended videos currently shown on your screen.